Oh, your pizzas are amazing, start a pizza business. Yeah, it's not as simple as that. In this video, I'm going to be answering 10 of the most common questions I get about running a pizza business and 10 mistakes that you can avoid that could really mess you up in the early days. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about starting out or you're elbow deep in dough already. This video is going to help you save time, stress and money. So let's get straight into it. How did I get started and how much did it cost? I started out with a little uni wood-fired oven. I just got obsessed with dough. I think the thing is, it is a passion for me. I love doing it, and I think if you have that passion, it does half of the legwork for you. But yeah, started out with a uni, upgraded a few times, but when we got serious into business, I think it cost around £3,000. We got a simple gazebo, a simple oven on a cheap trailer. Everything was done properly, but the key in those early days is to create that brand and do everything professionally. Build a brand, build a strong image and keep everything simple. Have a simple menu, but make the best pizza that you can. Those early days, I think the biggest tip would be to keep it simple. But you can do it with a budget. So if you have around £3,000, it's definitely possible. You can get a gazebo from Gorilla Gazebos, they're fantastic. You can get an oven, we use ovens from Skillcraft, they're Inferno ovens. But look around, look for deals, look on Facebook Marketplace, look for secondhand trailers, go and spare. Just get that set up, simple and easy. Don't look to cater festivals straight away. Just do a few small events, test the water and go from there. The second question we get all the time is, do you really make the dough every time? Yes, we do. It's our signature. We make room temperature Neapolitan style high hydration dough. It's around 64%. It's 24 hours proved. We make that every single time, and if we run out, we run out. We don't buy the frozen pucks. We've never tried it. We're going to be producing our own frozen stock soon, so look out for that. But yeah, we make our dough every time. It is a lot of work and it is hard to keep up with the room temperatures during the summer and the winter, but it's our signature, it's our brand. We like to do that, and our customers always notice the difference in the quality. So yeah, you don't have to make your own dough. There's a lot of suppliers out there that sell frozen dough, and you'll just have to learn how to manage that. But yes, we make our own dough every single time. What is the one thing I wish I knew before I started? Now, there's a few things I wish I knew, but I think the biggest one for us when we started out, and the one that I look back on and think about all the time, is how much pitch fees are. If you're looking to do food festivals, which we were when we started out, we thought, oh, let's do a food festival, it would be really great fun. Yeah, we paid around £1,400, and I know that could be quite cheap for pitch fees. That was for 2 days. So we had to make that back in our first day, and then on the second day we had to sell as much as we could to make profit. Now, if it had rained on any of those 2 days, we would have made a massive loss. So the amount of time and effort that goes into those events, in the UK it's such a gamble because of the weather. So always check out pitch fees before you book public events. For us, we've made the transition to focus more on private events where our quality is there because people want that. The thing with food festivals and markets and things like that is you find a lot of food vendors there that are there just to be a money-making machine. The quality of the food isn't great. Now, if you want to start that pizza business, crack on. Nothing against that. It's a good business. But because we make the best quality pizza we can, it's a real gamble because our costs are pretty high. So we don't have that level of markup to play with. So yeah, for us, the thing that I wish I'd known before was how much pitch fees are. What does a typical event look like from start to finish? So for us, I'll take our weekly pizzas. We get all the prep done on the Wednesday. So our pizzas are on a Thursday. We get all the prep done on a Wednesday. So that's making the dough, buying the ingredients, chopping the ingredients. We make our own dip. We make our own sauce. We make everything on a Wednesday, sometimes on a Thursday morning. But yeah, it's basically 2 days of lead up, and then 5 o'clock on the Thursday hits and we start serving. So we light the oven about an hour and a half before service to get that nice and hot, and then people start ordering at 5. We've got one person making pizzas, one person on the oven, and then one person front of house, front of gazebo, whatever you want to call it. So we've got that system in place. So a typical night for us is around 4 hours service. So the pizzas are made, they're passed to the oven cooks them, and then they're passed to front of house. They're chopped and topped and then served to the customer. So for 4 hours service, there's about 2 days of leading up to that. So yeah, a typical 4 hour service might look smooth, but it's the lead up that you need to think about. How much money can you actually make from a mobile pizza business? Now, this depends really on what sort of pizzas you're doing. You can make massive money. Take a typical night for us, we serve 50 pizzas at around £11 a pizza. That's £550. Ingredients and supplies of around £120. We're left with about £430. Now you take out wages and reinvestment for your running costs, your insurance. We've got an NCAS subscription, mileage, fuel. There's loads of stuff that adds up. So you're left with about £200 after that, and that's probably being generous. That's for a typical night. Weddings and private hire, you can make more. There's more to be made there, but there's more pressure. There's a lot more work that goes into those events, but you could profit maybe £1,000, £2,000 from 4 hours for one of those events. If you're in the festival catering and that side of it, the money's massive, but the pitch fees again are massive. Your risk is higher. So it depends where you want to be, but in general, there's good money to be made. How do you deal with burnout or long days? Sometimes we have 3 events in a week, or a weekend even, and a lot of people say, why do you do that? Or how are you not knackered? The thing is, yeah, it is tiring, but for me personally, I'm so passionate about it that overrides it. I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work. I love going out, sharing the pizza, and then when someone says to us, that's the best pizza I've ever had, it makes all the difference. It's better than being paid. For me, it's passion, and I think without the passion, I would struggle. So if you can find a passion in what you're doing, that will give you so much motivation and drive to deal with those longer days and the burnout, possible burnout. Other things that you could do, you could make sure that you don't book too much in. You can plan smart. You need to look ahead and go, actually, yeah, I'd love to take that booking, but we've got 2 other bookings either side, or it's sandwiched between 2 big events. You don't have to take every booking. Be sensible with your scheduling, and then that will avoid that burnout, really. Do you do public events or markets? Sometimes. We did in the earlier days, we did a few, but we've realised that the risks, like I said, with the pitch fees and the weather, are quite high. You could have an event, you don't know what the footfall is going to be. It's up to them to market that event. Yes, you can say, we're going to be here today, come on down. But it's up to that event to get that footfall, especially if it's like a food festival or something like that. And they could put you next to another stall selling something similar. So a lot of stuff is out of your control. I think the key is pick events where you have the most control. if you want to go to a food festival, ask them questions. Do you have other vendors there that are the same as us? Are there other pizza vendors there? Who are we going to be next to? How much are your pitch fees? Do you charge for electric? Do you charge for a bin? There's so many costs you need to think about. So with markets and festivals and public events, we love doing charity stuff because you're doing that for a purpose, and if you make a little bit of money, you pass that to them. That's a different kind of thing. But if you want to go into those food festivals, make sure your business is set up for that, and make sure you have a buffer for that risk. With us, I think we're more geared towards private hire and weekly pop-ups. So yeah, we don't really do them anymore. We like doing them, it's great fun, you get to chat to so many people, and now and then we do them. If it's the middle of the summer and the risk is lower, even then it could absolutely hammer down, you just never know. So yeah, it's all about risk. Question 8, what is it like working at weddings and private hire events? We get asked this all the time at weddings. Oh, I bet you were this side, having fun. But really, we're having a great time. We get offered drinks all the time, we get looked after. As long as you've planned ahead and communicated with the customer properly, then weddings should actually be a lot easier than public stuff, because you've built a rapport, you know the clients quite well, you know what you're doing, you know what the menu's going to be, you know how many you're going to serve. We normally do buffet style at weddings as well, so we've got it all prepped and ready to go, and it gives us loads of time to chat to people. And yeah, we love doing weddings and private hire. It gives you so much more time to speak to people and enjoy yourself. But the one thing I would say with weddings is there is a lot more pressure. So do your homework, go to the venue, speak to the clients, get your terms and conditions in place, just get everything prepared as much as possible. If you do all of that, then you'll have a great time on the day. Question 9, how do you manage your menu? We have a simple menu. So we have margarita, pepperoni, veggie, bee sting, which is pepperoni with hot honey and jalapenos. And then we have, at the moment, we're doing a world tour. So we have a different special every week. We started off in the UK, we went to France, then we went to Spain, and then we're going to either Portugal or Germany. So we did a pizza inspired by that country. So our special changes every 2 weeks. So we manage our menu by listening to customers. If people say, oh, I love that pizza, but I don't like that on there, then we'll listen to that and we'll take it off. Or they say, oh, that would be really amazing with that. And if we hear that enough times, we'll add it. But the key with your menu is keep it simple. Use really good ingredients, but keep it simple. Because if you're stretching the pizzas and you've got 20 different ingredients up above, it gets quite confusing. So keep it simple, manage a small menu, keep the quality high, and then just listen to your customers. And then the last question, question number 10, we get asked all the time, what oven do you use? So we have an Inferno Vulcan Plus, and it's made by Skillcraft. They're up in the Midlands. Really, really good oven. It's been an absolute workhorse. I had an Igneous Classico. I still have that. We use that now and then actually. If there's an event where we have to get in someone's garden for a garden gate, I'll use that oven because we can put that on a table. It fits in the van. But our workhorse is the Vulcan Plus. The thing with the oven is the stones are really thick. The insulation is really thick. We can cook 3 pizzas in there with the fire at a push. It's not massive, but it's not too small. It keeps up with what we need. There's going to be more on ovens in the mistakes. So the mistakes are coming up next. This is where I want to save you your time, effort and money. So mistake number 1, do not underestimate the time and prep that goes in before an event. You think you've got to do your shopping, so you've got to go to your suppliers, you've got to go to your supermarkets. We use Rossi International. You've got to get your logs, you've got to get all of your supplies, and then you've got to prep. So with our prep, we get everything chopped: mushrooms, onions, peppers are actually pre-blistered. We blister them and then chop them. You've got to make your dough, you've got to ball up, you've got to make sure everything's washed up and clean. You've got to then go to the venue, set everything up. We get there usually a minimum of 2 hours before. We like to have 3. So do not underestimate the amount of time that you'll have to put in beforehand. And that goes without your marketing. If you're doing videos, if you're doing social media, which you should be doing, it's unavoidable at the moment. You have to be doing all of this stuff. So don't underestimate how much time it takes for that 4-hour event. You've probably got 4 days worth of prep and work and working out. Yeah, it's not full days, but there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of planning ahead. So if you can make those things easier, brilliant, but don't underestimate it. Mistake number 2, buying the wrong oven. So I see a lot of the Gosney domes, arcs, and that's great. People normally have 2 or maybe 3 in a horse box. We use a wood-fired oven on a trailer. So one mistake you could make would be to get a oven with a really thin stone where you've got a high output event. With the stone, every time you put a pizza in, it will cool that stone down, and after 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 in the bigger ovens, that stone's going to be too cold. You'll get a nice cooked top, but a soggy or even just floppy base. You want a nice leoparding on your base. So you need a nice thick stone if you're going to do high output events, not even massively high. If you want to be able to do pizza after pizza for half an hour, you need a bigger stone. So yeah, the Gosneys are fine. If you've got 2 or 3, you can have one preheating, use another one, and then let that warm up again while you're using that one. So plan ahead with your event type and match that up with the oven. You can't just use any oven. Plan ahead. Mistake number 3, forgetting equipment. I'm gonna say it, we do it a lot. And I've even got a list that says oven door, peels. And every week I'm adding something to that because we get to an event and I'm like, oh, we've forgotten the basil. Something like that. The list is horrendous. It's got so much stuff on there now. But just get a list. It sounds silly to even put pizza oven on there or dough, but trust me, it will happen. You'll get to an event and go, oh, I've forgotten a chopping board, or oh, I've forgotten a knife. It will happen. So every time that happens, write it on your list. And then eventually you'll have a list that's really long and it looks ridiculous, but you can go through it item by item and not forget anything eventually. We're still doing it, but we will get there. Mistake number 4, bad first impressions. So this is huge. A customer will walk up to your gazebo, horse box, trailer, whatever you've got, and within that first 3 seconds, they're going to judge you. So everything that they hear, they smell, they see, even if they touch, if they take a business card and it's awful, covered in tomato sauce or whatever, that first 3 seconds is crucial. So you want them to walk up and you want to greet them. Hiya, how you doing? Hungry? Sun's out, what a lovely day. Nice to meet you. You need to greet that customer as if they are royalty. So a big mistake you could make is to not care about that impression. If you don't care and you've got music on with loads of swearing in it, or you've got no atmosphere, you finish what you're doing, you're smoking a cigarette, you finish your drink before you serve that customer, that first impression is crucial. So big mistake would be to underestimate that first impression. Mistake number 5, assuming customers will just show up. They won't. Some will, but you need to advertise. You need to get on social media. I assume because you're on YouTube, you know what social media is, but it is unavoidable now. It's out of the question. If you've got a business, you have to have a social media presence. People are they're gonna want to look at, it's like a portfolio. You're gonna want to have an Instagram account. If you don't get one, start putting your pizzas on there. For us, Instagram is more for a portfolio of our pizzas and it's more artistic. Facebook, weirdly, is where we get a lot of customer interaction with our local business. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we've got YouTube, we've got a website. So you have to have a lot of presence. Get onto Facebook, get onto those community groups and share where you're going to be. Shout about it, because you can't just go to an event or get yourself your first pop-up location, set yourself up and then expect people just to smell your pizza. It's not going to happen. So get a social media presence. Mistake number 6, not visiting venues. So say you get booked for a wedding. Congratulations. Get yourself down there, because even if it's an hour away, you need to make that trip. If you don't make that trip and you show up on the day and you've got no power, you've got nowhere to put your gazebo or your trailer, you have no rapport with the staff, that's going to make your life really difficult. And the last thing you want on someone's wedding day is surprises. So get yourself down there, say to your client, say it's a wedding, say to the bride or the groom, we're going to make a visit to the venue. Do you want to meet us there? It's fine if not, but we need to do this for our due diligence. We're going down to make sure we've got access, we've got power, we've got everything we need, and that there are no surprises on your wedding day. That ticks 2 boxes. You look amazingly professional and you're not coming up to any surprises on their wedding day. You might get there and realise, actually there's no power here. We need to either sort out a generator or move to a different spot. You'll chat with, you might even have the wedding planner there. You might be able to book in an appointment with the wedding planner and the person that's going to be the boots on the ground on the day, and have a good chat with them. And then when you get there on the day, you've done all of that. There's no surprises. So even if you've been there before, if you get booked for it, go down in a professional capacity and make that effort. Number 7, not building a brand. You could start up your pizza business, the most amazing pizzas in the world, and that's it. If you don't build a brand, what's your story? How are they the most amazing pizzas in the world? Why do you think that? What makes you do pizza? If people can hear about your story or look up why you're doing pizzas, what is the drive behind it? People buy off people. So if they can relate to you, or if they can really buy into why you're doing it, what your brand's all about, and by brand I don't mean just a logo, I mean what's your story? How do you greet people? What atmosphere do you create at every event? That needs to be uniform. Create that brand. Make sure that people know what you're all about, and then spread that across your social media platforms. And you'll develop that, and then people will recognise, and they'll go, oh, at Ojo's Pizza, they're professional, relaxed, they have a nice casual atmosphere, but the quality is amazing. Create your brand. Mistake number 8, not working smart in the early days. The early days, you're going in blind. Unless you've done it before, you're going in blind. This is what this is all about. I'm trying to help out. So in the early days, you want to work smart. If there is an event where you can say, oh, I'll come to that and I'll do pizzas, I won't charge for it. I'll do low prices on the pizzas, but it just gets us out there. Do it. Don't charge massive money. There's 2 things here with the prices. I'm going to go on a tangent. So with your pricing, don't undercharge. Don't charge emotionally. Don't say, oh, it's only worth £7. See what the average prices are locally and go with that. It's easy to go, oh, it's we've only just started, so we're only going to charge £8. No, if your quality's there, charge for it. You need to make your money. But in the early days, if you work smart, you could go to an event and say, we'll do everything for £10 a pizza and we won't charge to be there. That gives you that practice. If someone's having a birthday party, say, oh, I'll do pizzas for it. If you just cover my costs, you could go and do that. You won't make any money, but you get practice with your oven, you get practice with your systems, you get practice with everything, and it all helps. So in the early days, if there are events where you can do a little deal, or you can place yourself in that event to get your practice, go for it. Mistake number 9, not having a contract or terms and conditions for your clients. It's great to think that nothing's going to go wrong. And even if you're doing your site visits and you're keeping your communication up on the day, you could have hurricane winds, you could have a typhoon, you could have lightning everywhere, you could have serious illness as well. So what you need to have in place is a contract that says if you cancel your event within this many days, then you get this much of your deposit back. Or if we cancel an event within this many days of your event, then you get this much back. If the weather looks awful, then we're going to do this, this and this. There are loads of things that you need to get written down. Go and ask ChatGPT to write a contract based on your business model, and then even get a template created and then add your terms in, because it's clear then. You send that to the customer when they've paid the deposit or before, and then you know where you stand. It looks professional, it covers you, it covers them. So on the day or the lead up to the event, if anything happens, you both refer to those terms that you have agreed to and you know where you stand. So it's easy to do. It will take a little bit of time to get it right, and also keep reviewing that. But get it in place and get it to the customer. They'll appreciate it. Mistake number 10, and I think this has been covered but not specifically mentioned. Your pizza is not enough. Yes, you could make the best pizza in the world, but it's not enough. You need people to hear about it. That's where the social media comes in. You need people that want to buy from you. So that's where your first impressions come in. You want people to like your prices and your menu, and that's when all of that work comes in. You want people to know that you're reliable. You want to be professional. Pizza alone isn't enough. If McDonald's just made a Big Mac, look at everything that goes around that. Look at the branding, look at the systems that they've got in place. The product isn't enough. You need to really focus on everything around that. And that's what people underestimate. When you turn up to do pizzas and it's fantastic, they don't understand that the work behind it has got you to that place. And that's what you need to not underestimate. The amount of work that goes into it. But at the same time, I don't see it as work. I really enjoy cooking. I really enjoy doing social media. I like building a business, and I'm passionate about my business. So for me, it doesn't feel like a lot of work. But if you're doing it just to make money, it might feel like a lot of work, but the product alone is not enough. So that's it for this video. There's obviously 100, if not 1,000 mistakes. There's 100, if not 1,000 questions that people can make and that people can ask. If you've got any that you want me to answer, leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer. Get in contact, follow us on Instagram. Just get in touch if you fancy it. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel. It helps us out massively. We're really trying to grow this channel. We've got massive plans coming up and we want you to be a part of it. So follow along with us. Get in touch if you fancy it. I've been Joe from Mojo's Pizza and I really appreciate you watching. See you on the next one.